I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in May in Vancouver, and I'm joined by Mike Collins of Nuclear Fuels. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Gwen.
So last time you were here, Nuclear Fuels was still pretty darn new, and you were, working away, focused on Kaycee. You still are to a large extent, which is a project in the Powder River Basin where there's great opportunity to delineate, in situ recovery amenable uranium resources with some good speed, right?
That's correct. So we've got a project there at Kaycee and west side of Powder River Basin. And it came with a database of 3,800 historic drill holes, which is kind of our Rosetta Stone that allows us to really move quickly.
Yes.
To develop further resources. And we're focused on that. We have 2 drills turning now.
Yes.
I was quite excited about that. And we've got some additional built out our geology team over the winter, and we've got some great people with a depth of experience in roll front exploration. So very excited about that.
Okay. So Kaycee is absolutely underway. That was always the original business premise, was to let's develop Kaycee, and it's underway. And it's really great, by the way, that you mentioned having roll front geologists who've joined the team, because they're a rare find, but you've been in this industry and specifically in US uranium for long enough that you're one of the rare people who can find folks like that.
Yeah, I've had conversations with executives at other roll front exploration companies, and they're like, what consultants are you using? It's like, no, we hire them direct.
Yeah.
We got them. We got the team.
They're ours.
Yeah. And we won't tell you what their name is.
Okay. And then the bigger picture reason to try and delineate these resources quickly at Kaycee is the uranium market. And the uranium market is moving now because there isn't enough uranium. We need more uranium production like tomorrow than the world can make. And especially we need it in America.
Yes. We've had a number of factors that really have brought that home. The recent congressional and Senate passing of a bill to, ban Russian uranium coming into the U.S. And U.S. is the largest consumer of uranium for power production. So
and the U.S. still makes very, very, very little uranium.
Yeah.
Used to make a lot, hardly makes any now.
I thought it would spin up a little faster, but it's probably it's probably under 2 million pounds this year.
Exactly.
So.
But there's a history of uranium production, and so there is historic infrastructure, and there's a bit of a knowledge base. And so one of the best ways for investors to try and angle into this uranium market is to bet on companies that have a way to get to production, in the next few years, have a view on getting to production in the next few years. So with Kaycee as the cornerstone of that, paint the picture of how Nuclear Fuels is doing that.
Yeah, so we are an advanced exploration company right now, but my driving ambition really is to make us a near-term production story.
Yes.
And when we talk about near-term production in Wyoming, it's a 2 to 3 year permitting timeline because it's an agreement state, and all permitting is local. Beyond that, it's very quick to build a plant. It's about a year. So it's amazing that way. But the other thing is the overall threshold to become a producer, really the economics, you need to be able to see about 10 million pounds in resources. And that gives you a 10-year mine life at 1 million pounds.
Yeah.
And you can start with that and then continue to build resources. And that gives you this amazing opportunity to have a cornerstone that just grows and grows and grows, and a near-term story. So my ambition is to find that 10 million pounds. If I can get to 15, then enCore has a back end right. But I think if I found 10 million pounds, they would probably go, oh, yeah, that does work.
Yeah.
We should have this conversation a little earlier than we expected.
And that would work well for everyone, because enCore wants more production.
They're looking to fill their pipeline.
Absolutely.
Right? So we need to produce an economic model that demonstrates that there is producible resources. And one of the unique things about in situ recovery development is that it doesn't all have to be in one place. You can have a core production facility that has both a resin plant and a yellow cake production attached to it. So you're going from having uranium and resin at 5% to basically putting it back into highly concentrated solution, and then dropping it out of solution and drying it just into yellow cake, putting it in a barrel and shipping it. It's the simplest metallurgical process really in the mining business. But you can also have other resin extraction plants as satellites. And if you look at UR Energy, that's what they're doing with the Shirley Basin deposit they have. They've got a fully permitted plant at Shirley Basin, but they're only building the resin component, and they're going to ship the resin from there to Lost Creek.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's a model we're looking at. We've got historic resources down at Boot Heel.
Yes.
We're seeing at Boot Heel, I think, 1 million pounds of indicated and about 3 million inferred. That's a nice chunk of potential production there. We've got to do some drilling there to bring that into current resource status. So we're actually working on permitting at the moment. Beyond that, we've got 3.9 million pounds in Northwest Arizona at Moonshine. That's not categorized. That is, again, a historic resource from Energy Fuels. But opportunity, that's getting a little long to be shipping, but it is actually at 5% uranium in resin. You can move that a long way. So these are opportunities that we're seeing. Get to that 10 million pound resource, and then a global resource, as it were, and then see if we can build an economic model around it.
Absolutely.
And then continue to build resources in behind that.
And all just driven by the thesis that, if you can be showing that you have a path towards producing the thing that is in such short supply but is so needed, then that's a winning investment thesis.
And it drives a re-rate from being an advanced exploration co to being a near-term production story. And that's what everybody really wants to see in our business. And that's the unique opportunity in ISR, is that very short timeline.
Absolutely.
To go down that road.
And then your short timeline has the potential to be shorter if enCore decides to come in and act on the really interesting deal that you guys have, because they want more pounds as well.
Exactly. And then they're really trying to build out their production pipeline. So we have an agreement with enCore on the Kaycee Project, where they have the back end right once we've proven up 15 million pounds measured, indicated, and inferred. And with that, they provide the technical team that builds all of that. And that makes it certainly a whole lot easier. But they also give us 2.5 times back our exploration dollars as part of that deal under that structure. And that would allow us to continue to be relevant as exploration company in these other projects that we have. And so that's a fabulous opportunity. But, we can look at a different number of strategies to get to a production story.
Absolutely. Well, it's always good to have options and to keep your eyes wide open to the context in which you're operating. So I really look forward to seeing what you can pull together over the next year.
Thanks, Gwen. We'll be pushing hard.
Awesome.
So
great to see you.
Thank you.